Okay, let's do the math. If we want to have 5 signatures, then we could use 4 papers plus 1 envelope per signature. That would mean we would need 20 papers folded in half. And then this here, this is the perfect size guide. Hi, this is Luise Heinzl. And I'm pretty convinced if your day starts with some math, and if your table looks like this, even before you did anything, you know, no crafty things happened here yet, then it's the perfect day to start making a new junk journal. Welcome to this video. I think this is the video where I had the most preparation ever, but the good thing for you is that I already did the math for you and that I found something which hopefully is helpful for you as well. So what is this? What are we going to do today? And what do you need if you want to craft along with me? This is the first official time travel video of my Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal series. Perhaps you have already seen my paper premiere where I have shown you a bound journal with my Poppyfield Avenue papers. If not, check out the description box. There is a playlist where you can find the paper premiere as a replay. And perhaps you want to watch that first because there you can see my bound journal made with these papers and other stuff. And now we are making a little time travel because this video is recorded on the first day of making this journal. So that means I will, in the future videos, show you some steps of my process. So I have picked some, portions of my process where I thought that could be interesting for you, that could be helpful for you if you want to make yourself a journal as well, no matter if with this paper collection or with another one. I think there are also some general tips and tricks and techniques and ideas and so on in these videos, which you can also transfer to other paper collections. That doesn't necessarily have to be this one. And if you are new to this whole thing, new to my channel, you also can craft along if you don't have a printer or if you don't like to use digital paper. That being said, I want to try out something which I have never done before in a journal. And that is something which is for nearly every of my journals. I really like to challenge myself a little bit, try out new things. And because of that, I have this weird stuff here. But don't run away, please, okay? Don't run away. I have spent a day, I think even 1.5 days, to make this and this into something where you can very easily have the same stuff like I have here today, because I wanted that you have an easy life with printing this. And I know that there are many people who are new to digital paper and printing, especially things like double-sided printing and that kind of, so I tried something where I hope that this little guide is helpful for you as well. So let's go into that. In this video, I want to put together the signatures. Yes, if you follow me already for a longer time, you might think, that is unusual. Yes, it is. But for one of my main ideas behind this journal, we need the signatures first. If you have already seen other videos on my channel, you know that I often start with making ephemera or tiny snippets, tiny bits and pieces, some layered flowers or whatever. But this time we need the signatures first. That for me is pretty difficult, not only because of obviously different sizes of paper. Can you already perhaps see that? It's also it's a little bit difficult to imagine for myself, but we will go through this together step by step, okay? So please don't freak out. So what we are going to need is, I have the Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal pages here, but printed in a special way. And I have prepared everything for you. You don't need to know how to get such a big frame around your paper. You don't need to know that. You can just print the stuff, yeah? Because I did already everything for you. That means if you... So let's first, let's do this step by step. Let's first talk about what this is so that you can see why these papers are different sizes. Let's first take a paper trimmer and let's do the first thing you would need to do as well if you want to have the same sizes like I have here, like I do here. So my idea is to have different sizes of paper in the signatures in a specific order. Is that necessary for your journal? No. If you want to follow along exactly with what I do here, and if you want to try out these techniques exactly like I want to, like I do it here, then I would recommend do it with the paper sizes in exactly the same way like I do it, yeah? Because some of the main ideas behind the journal are based on the different sizes and the order of the pages in the journal. But if you think that is way too complicated for me, I just want to make a journal, do that, and you can have fun with my techniques as well, yeah? There's no problem with that. But if you want to follow along, then you will find with your download, yeah, that is like a bonus thing which you get for free with your download of these pages. When you download the Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal pages, then you have your folders on your computer where the different pages are in, which you can print. There's one main folder where you have Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal pages 1, Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Just, you know, like with numbers, nothing fancy, just like you know it from the other downloads I had in my shop before. But there's also another special folder which is called Print Guide. And in that folder, you will find the images in exactly the size. I have them here. And I did that in a way so that you can very easily print them without knowing, without the need of knowing anything about your printer. Some of these pages, 1, 2, 3, have 2 pages on one. Can you see that? I already did that for you so that you can just cut this in half. And then we have 2 pages which have the half size here. That is already like this in the printable, yeah? On the back side, I have printed this. And as you can see, this is a full page. So that means, and that's for both of these as well, that means when we take this and cut this apart along here, we get, with this one cut, 2 pages, which are now in this direction. And on the back, we have the half of the other print on each of the pages. The same for this thing. You can see here is this line. And we can just cut this apart. Just line this up with the paper trimmer and just cut it apart. Then you have both of these pages. And on the back, we have this. I did this on purpose. You can also take the page, this page here, and print that full size. Then you would have something like this. And you can then fold that if you want like so for your journal. But I want that these images later on in the journal are in this direction on purpose. Because when we fold this like so, we have this on the one side of this little paper here, and this in the inside, and it's on purpose in the wrong direction. Makes no sense now, but later. Please believe me. So then there's a third page, which is like that. We also cut this in half. Then we have this. When we fold it, it's like so. This is like so. This is like so, folded. This is like so. So that means in this print guide folder, you have these 3 papers where you, if you want to do it exactly like I do it, have to cut them in half. But these 3, you can just print like they are. Yeah, just look in the folder and, you know, you see them there, and then it says print 1, print 1A. That means the front has the number, you know, and then when it says, for example, 1A, you know that is what I printed to the back. When you have the second page, I don't know if these are in the correct order anymore, yeah, but in the folder it's very clear. And then you will have the same thing like I have on my desk here. When it, for example, says print 2, then it's this, and print 2A, you print to the back. For example, print 3, print it to the front, print 3A, print that to the back. And then you have exactly what I have here. So we have these are 6 papers. We will throw one of these out later probably, but we don't care about that now, okay? I'm really hoping that this is not confusing. Then, in this print guide folder, you will find these pages. In the normal download folder, these images are full size. Yeah, you can also print them full size. This here, with this white border, you will only find in the print guide folder. Why do I speak so aggressively? Holy cow. I'm so sorry. My problem is, I was a preschool teacher in my previous life, and somehow some of these genes are still in my body. And I'm like really literally sweating because I'm so hoping that this is not confusing for you, because I did this for you so that you don't run away when you see that we use different sizes, because I know how difficult that is for some people. And even if I use digital paper nearly every day and I work with this is my job. I had a really hard time to get this into the right sizes, and I'm so hoping that this is not overwhelming for you. And that is why I talk so aggressively, because I want you to understand this and understand that this is pretty easy. Yeah, it's really easy. So what is this? This is obviously in the print guide folder, shrinked. Is that the word? You know, it's smaller than the normal size of the paper. In the normal download folder, you have these images here as full-sized images, and you can print them borderless if you want. Yeah, if that's your jam, do that. But if you want to follow along here with the different sizes of the pages, then print this. But why have I done this like so? This is obviously a little smaller than the original print. And I didn't want to tell you, print this on 83.7% or so. I don't know how much this is smaller. And because of that, I didn't want to confuse you with like percentage printing and shrinking the papers down. I did it like this, so that you have this white border around here, but you can just press print, take your normal paper, throw that into your printer, and it will print you this size and exactly the proportion I have in mind for this project. So that means you don't have to deal with printer settings. Yeah, I wanted to be kind to you so that, do you know what I mean? So that this is easier for you. And that's the same thing. You have 2 files in the folder where it, for example, says 7A. Yeah, so if you want to have it in exactly the order and, you know, front and back exactly like I have it here, then just look where it says the number and A and print that to the front and the back of your paper. For example, 8. I don't know if that is the number. For that I would need to take my folder out, yeah? But let's say this is page 8, and there it says 8A. 9A. Just tell your printer, print double-sided, or print first all of the numbers and then put the paper back in and print all of the numbers with the A. Then you also have the same thing if your printer can't handle the double-sided printing in one go. Yeah, but that is also no problem. You can just take them out and put them back in and then, you know, print the back. So that means we have some of these pages which have this bigger border here, and this we will cut off now, because these pages shall be smaller in the end. This is a total of 5 papers, because 5 signatures, and one of these will go into each of the signatures. I'm going to take this, so this is 3 papers at once. I think that this paper trimmer can handle that. Please make sure that you only take the amount of papers your paper trimmer can handle. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim off this border. If you don't have a big paper trimmer, please do the following thing. Fold this in half, then this fits in here and you can easily cut this frame off. So I will quickly do this for all of the papers here.
Send me letters from Poppyfield Avenue, time-worn secrets, telling tales we knew were true, wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share, every line a whisper, a memory to renew.
And if you have missed the paper premiere, I'm really happy to tell you in this video, and probably also in the following videos again, because I'm just so happy that we have again a soundtrack for this paper collection. You have already heard a little portion a second ago when I was cutting this, and you know, you've heard the music, and I'm really happy that my dear friend Daniel Evans has again created a masterpiece for me and for you, for everyone. And he has again turned my lyrics into music, and he has really, in my opinion, outdone himself with this song. I'm so happy, and every time I listen to it, I nearly can't believe that it's true that we have this. And you can get the soundtrack with your download. So that is like a free bonus thing which you get when you either purchase the Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal pages, or the ephemera pack, or the kit. Yeah, so there are 3 different things available in my shop: the pages, the ephemera pack, and the junk journal kit, which is nothing else than a combination of the pages and the ephemera. And with all of these 3, you get the soundtrack for free additionally to your download, as an MP3 file, which you can then enjoy at home. So then, that's cool, isn't it? Oh, and by the way, if you like Daniel's voice and if you want to know more about him, please check out the description box. There are all of the links where you can find him, and yeah, please check him out, okay? So then we have these. These pages are the regular size. In my case, DIN A4. Perhaps in your case, US letter size paper. That doesn't matter. The proportion with my printing guide will always be the same, no matter if you print on DIN A4 or US letter size. Here we have 5 pages of the Poppyfield Avenue Junk Journal pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've decided for these. And here we have the special thing. They are, on the one hand, printed full size. Oh, I can't wait to work with these. Look, when this lays over each other like so. Can't wait. And then on the back, there is nothing yet. Yeah, so that means in the print guide folder, you will find these pages where you only have a number, and there's not a number with an A. And that means there is nothing on the back. Yeah, so if there's a number where you don't see a file where it says the number and A, the letter A, then that means printed one-sided and nothing to the back, because we will do our own thing on the back. Okay? So then, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to fold these 5 in half. Yeah. And we fold this. Perhaps I will change my mind later, but for now I want to fold it so that the white side of the paper is on the outside. This will not stay white, but for the moment I want to have it like this, that this is in the inside and this is on the outside. This is like, you know, a process video. I have never done this kind of, yeah, size thing, and yeah, to be honest, I think I've never had a, what am I doing? I've never had a journal where I thought about the sizes of the pages and so on so much like with this journal. But that is like a real process here, and I want to document my real process here, because I think that is the most interesting thing also for you, because when you see my mistakes, you can choose to make other mistakes. You don't have to make my mistakes, and that's why I want to leave them in the videos. If I do something wrong, then you can see what you could do wrong, or not like you wanted, and then you could choose to do something else wrong. Yeah. And another little thing which I wanted to tell you about this paper collection is that I came to the idea to start a new thing with my digital papers. So from now on, so this is the first paper collection where I did that, and that will happen in the future paper collections as well. You will find somewhere hidden, like, you know, like on Easter with an Easter egg or so, you will find hidden somewhere on the papers. I mean, it's a little bit obvious, but yeah, the name of the paper collection. This is in this case here on this little sign over this little bookshop here. And here's a number. Here it says number 122, and this is the number of the journal I make with this. So this is my 122nd journal I make. Yeah, so perhaps this is something a little special for you as well, because I thought when this is in my journal, I want to have this here, and my signature and so on will later on probably also go to this page. In the past, I did that differently. I stamped the number of the journal, and then I have put my signature there. But I thought, why don't I include that in the paper collection? Because then you have that as well. It's probably not your 122nd journal you are making with this paper collection, but I want some... Yeah, this is like a connection thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like you are here when I'm doing this stuff, and, you know, you are watching these videos. You are crafting along with me. There are so many people who feel connected. And, you know, this, I thought it could be a nice idea when you have that as well, and have this number like a little... Is it token or so? Is that... hopefully that is not a bad word. You know, like a little charm or so, which we all can have and which connects us. Do you know what I mean? Perhaps that makes sense. So let's fold these as well. Why is it so difficult to fold it just like this so that the white is on the outside? Okay, here we go. So now we have this size, 5 papers in this full size. Let me quickly put this out of the way. And then we have these, which are also 5, so 1 per signature. And when we fold these in half, we also want to have 5 of these, but with the printing we got 6, because, you know, we had 3 of these papers, and there have been 2 of these on 1 paper. So that means if I cut everything in half, I have 6 instead of 5. So that means we have to decide for 1 which needs to go to our stash for later, for making an envelope or whatever, like, you know, decoration, collage for our so. This one is the one I throw out for making something else. So if you want to do it exactly the same, remember this page or make a screenshot, or, you know, This is the one I will not take, okay? And then we can fold this as well. And that means when we look at this now, I'm pretty proud of this concept, to be honest. When we put this on here, then we can see, please give me a second. When we do this like so, we can already see the different sizes of these pages. But now, when we have this, this is a little bit boring, and it's also not enough paper for a journal, at least not for what I want to have as a journal. And because of that, I want to throw in some coffee dyed paper. And for that, we are going to do the following thing. You can see, this is the smallest thing. Here, there's a pretty big space compared to this. Yeah, so that means we are going to throw some coffee dye paper in between here, and we are going to coffee dye this here, so that we then in the end, in each signature, have coffee, print, alternating. For that, I'm going to take my coffee dye paper I made in the last video. If you need a really basic guide for making coffee dyed paper, plus coffee dyed paper the lazy way, please check out the video I've linked below this video for you. That was the sorry, it was not the last video, because the last video was the paper premiere. So the video before the paper premiere, but I will also link it down below that you can click it directly. I have made a little guide for really lazy people like myself, how to coffee dye paper within no time, without any mess, without an oven, without sunlight. And perhaps you want to see that and make yourself some coffee dye paper as well. That is meant for, especially for beginners, or if you consider yourself a beginner. You know, I don't like the word beginner when it comes to junk journaling, but if you want to check that out, then please find the link in the description box. This is DIN A4 as well. As I said, you could do this with US letter size paper as well. I will take 5 of these sheets, because 5 signatures, 1 of these per signature, and I will fold these in half. And I've chosen coffee dyed paper to combine with the Poppyfield Avenue collection, because this letter theme of the paper collection, I think coffee dyed paper is the perfect match. If we think about vintage letters which are already pretty old and someone has collected them, that fits really well. But you could, of course, also use something else. You could also use another digital paper. That doesn't have to be coffee dyed paper. Yeah, but if you want to craft along and do it exactly like I do it, then please choose coffee dyed paper, because this is coffee dyed paper. So then, what we then need to decide is the size of these pages, which will then go in between here in each signature. So I am going to take one of these smallest pages, and then one of these, because that's everything we need for determining the size. I will take the bigger page and put this here, and this here later on will go around here like so, but this paper needs to go in between. But for measuring, it's really handy to have this on here, because then it can't run away and it will stay in place approximately there where it needs to be later. Then we can take this paper, which is folded in half, and this I want to put in here like so, because, you know, if I would put it in there like so, I can't see anything anymore, because I want to see this page to determine the size of this, and for that I need to see that somehow. So we take this, and now please decide where you want to place this paper. I will zoom in a little bit. Sorry, you can't see that so well because the contrast is... Wait, I'm so sorry, this is not what I want to have here on this channel. Please excuse me. Let's take another page where you can see the contrast better, because this is nearly the same color like on the other page, and that is probably pretty hard to see. So if I do it like so, then you can see the coffee dyed paper on this print better because we have more contrast. So I'm going to take this and I put this in here. Oh yeah, this is now visible way better. And now I want to decide, I first take a look at this edge, yeah, because I want to decide how much of the coffee dyed paper I want to see here. Or let's say how less of the print I want to see here. So I decide how big I want to have this. Yeah, you can play around with this height or let's say the width of this like you want. If you want, you can also, and I think I will do that, take one of these, which are the biggest size, where we will coffee dye this later, and then you can also put this like so, or even you can even put that in here because that's the spot where it will be later, like so. Then you can even see this here and the proportion of this and this, yeah, and then you can easily decide how you want to do that. Shall we perhaps make them all a little different? Because to be honest, I really like both. I mean, when it's smaller or when it's bigger, I really like both. Let's do a little variation. So let's first make perhaps, let's say 2 of the 5, which are a little bit bigger, okay? So now this print here is approximately, this is approximately 1/4 of an inch, like that's 0.5 centimeters approximately. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Approximately 1/4 of an inch / 5 millimeters. So here on the bottom, I will do the same thing. And I will just do it like so, because, you know, you could take a pencil, yes, but why? Here is a mark now. And then we can just line it up here, this one with this, perhaps like so. Then we can see this and the other papers as well, and then we can perhaps just do it like so, so that we see this is the amount of this print we see, and this is approximately, I would say, 1/2 inch / 1 centimeter. And when we have this, we can take, what did I say, 3 of these, take the paper trimmer and just cut these smaller. If we imagine this was already our first signature, it can go in here like so. And that way, please imagine that this is brown later as well. We will coffee dye this. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes per signature. So that is this size where we had this amount of space around. So for both of these, let's do it a little differently. Let's cut them shorter so that here and here there's more of the print visible. So that means if it shall become shorter, we could perhaps even go this far down, and then here perhaps like so, and then here shall we then make it wider here or even smaller? Let's make it wider. Yeah, this is just perfect. I really like that that is so different to the other one. So then I will put all of this stuff out of my way. And I take the 5 pages which we already folded, but which are white on the one side. Fold them open and put them to our table with this side. Since there have been a bazillion of questions about how to coffee dye the backside of a digital print. I will go a little more into detail about that now, and show you some of my tricks, okay? At this stage of the project, I don't know how grungy this whole thing shall come out. And at this point, I want to avoid that my coffee can come to this side of the paper. For that, I'm going to do several different things. First, I'm going to take some paper towels. This is just 2 layers of paper towels, and I put my paper on here so that when I now brush my coffee on here, that the excess can't go to my glass mat I have here and then soak in the paper. But when I brush over here, the excess goes into the paper towel and I don't risk that coffee comes to this page. The prints are printed on 130 GSM matte photo paper. So that means this is pretty thick already compared to other photo papers I use for my journals. Yeah, so this is already a thicker paper. But at the same time, we want to have in mind that you perhaps print on paper which is thinner. Please make sure that when you put your coffee on here, that you don't leave it too long on the print, so that the coffee can't soak through the paper and then give marks on the other side. If you like it grungy, if you want that, throw a ton of coffee to your paper. But if you don't want that, then please have that in mind, that you don't have the coffee for too long on here. I have here some instant coffee. So this is just some water mixed with this kind of stuff, this dry little like pellets kind of stuff. This is the cheapest instant coffee I could find. If you want to have more details about the coffee dyeing I do, please check out the other video I've mentioned earlier. It's linked down below in the description box. And here I have a pretty, let's say thin mixture, not so much coffee, but more water, so that it doesn't come out too dark. And then I'm going to take a brush. Oh, and I can see here's also obviously some rust water already in this coffee mixture. That really doesn't matter, but it comes out a little differently than I was expecting it, but it's fine. This looks a little bit like grayish because there's some of my rust water in the coffee mixture. That happened obviously accidentally, or what also could have happened is that, perhaps it's also the reaction of the photo paper and the coffee, that this comes out so differently. I think I've never coffee dyed this brand of photo paper. That could also be a thing. But this color is absolutely fine. It totally reminds to old letters, doesn't it? That is really cool. Okay, so when we have that, we can just immediately take our heat tool and dry this, and that's it. This is not only fast, but it also avoids that the coffee can come to the other side. Oh my goodness, this color is perfection. Oh, that is so cool. And that way this side is like it was before and there's no coffee on this side.
We used to meet at 9 p.m. down by the stationery nook. Just the two of us, graffiti marks, the streetlight ghosts. A hug, a kiss, that charming misprinted book. 'Cause that was the one you loved the most. You tear out a page, then read a line or two. Your secret letters, hidden chapters I was longing for. You folded it and smiled. I love those words and you. And today, there's nothing I miss more. Send me letters unworn secrets, telling tales we knew were true. Wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share. Every line a whisper, a memory to renew. Send them to me, your letters from Poppy Field Avenue.
Okay, so here we go. I'll quickly fold them again. Let's see. We have this size. Then the next we need is this. Then this and then this. So let's perhaps start with this page here. So then the next one needs to be from this size, and I want to choose something which fits, like, you know, a little bit color-wise to this. Is that necessary? No, absolutely not. But I'm a freak. And when you flipped through the journal, then, you know, when this is, for example, this is here, and you flip through this like so, then obviously you see these colors after each other, and then you perhaps want to make sure that this is nice, yeah, but it really doesn't matter. You can also later on make some color bridges or so that the whole thing then again works together well. I like this even better. Okay, so let's do it like so. So if you want to put your signatures together exactly like I do, we have this page, then this black and white one. Then we need one of our smaller coffee dyed papers. And then one from the small prints. Let's perhaps take this one here, because then we have this color here, and this fits really well to this. Okay. Then the next one would have this in the middle, or in the center, I should say. And there I think I want to have this one here next. Then another smaller coffee dyed one. And then this one here. So that this signature is then like so. And at this stage, you could of course also say, I take this biggest one and put that the other way around in here. If you, for example, have something like here, where these are pretty neutral, and perhaps you want to have a pop of color here, and if here there was also coffee dyed paper, you have seen that a second ago, then here it's also pretty neutral. So this would also be an option, that then the signature is like so. And you have here two digital papers next to each other, but I think that also fits really well. And then you have the coffee dyed paper in the center here. I think I really like this when it's like so. Also depends perhaps a little bit on the images. Here, for example, the page with the moon. I would say this looks nice in the center of the signature, so I would rather do it like so than doing it like this, because if I do it like this, then here is a part of the moon and here's the rest. I mean, that would also be nice, yeah, but I think I want to have this in the center. So let's do this like so. Perhaps this, because I made this, that this and this fits pretty well together, as you can hopefully see. So then, and this is here, then we need another coffee dyed one. Then perhaps this. So then the signature is like so. Well, I think that is good. Oh, I love this. Okay, here. I think here I want to do it like so as well. As we have left here. I think I don't want that this face and this face is in the same signature. We have to have that in mind. So that would mean that this and this needs to go together, because here's the other face. So that means this is the biggest page. Then we could either do it like this, but this is not so nice. This would be like so. I like it until here. Yeah, this is not nice. Let's do it like so. I did this on purpose because I really loved the idea of having this face in two pieces in the journal. But I think this is pretty good. Okay. And then last but not least, we have this, where we can then decide if we want to have this like so. Ooh. Oh my goodness. I see this obviously for the first time next to each other. I mean, I did some test printing and put the pages next to each other and so on, but I haven't folded them until a few minutes ago, because, you know, otherwise I would have needed to print everything twice. And now I see this for the first time next to each other in this folded condition, and I'm absolutely in love. Oh, I was so hoping that this turns out exactly like this, that we have this like street art, urban graffiti kind of style, and this more, yeah, this nearly looks like from a fairy scene, doesn't it? I mean, imagine a little fairy here, and this would be the perfect fairy thing. Obviously not with both of these people, yeah, but this page here is totally, for me, like that. And this style mix is really interesting, and I think it is, in this case, more interesting if we don't do it like so, even if this also would be a possibility. If you like this better, then please do it like that, but I think this is way more interesting. Oh, sounds arrogant, but I'm in this second so proud of myself, because it was really hard to do this style mix. That was pretty new to me with this paper collection, and I already told you that in the paper premiere I've also tried different things style-wise. That is something you can hear in the paper premiere video. I will not repeat it here, but that was a really massive thing I wanted to change for my printables, and I think it's, oh my goodness, when I see this, that it was absolutely successful, and that makes me really proud. Oh, because that was such a hard thing to do. This is absolutely cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then we have this, and I think in this first signature, in this signature, which will probably become the first one, we have the main topic of the paper collection already on the pages. The poppy, this letter style, the city which massively inspired this paper collection, which is London, this story with the couple and their story with what they have experienced on Poppyfield Avenue. Poppyfield Avenue itself, the little stationery nook, and also these urban graffiti kind of style things with this, and also here. And because of that, I want to decide that this is going to become the first signature in the journal. Then, I mean, that is not so important now, yeah, but it's just a little information for you. So this is what we have so far, and I would say we call this a day. Is that a good English expression for ending with something like this? Hopefully. As I said, want that everyone can craft along here. Also, if you consider yourself a beginner, I want that you can follow these steps really, really easily and that you have enough time to prepare your own signatures and so on. So that's it for today. I hope you like this concept of these different sized pages, and I'm really hoping that what I want to do with these will really work. But if not, we will make it work because we are junk journaler and we can do this. In the next video, I want to show you some ideas on how to include these envelopes in the signatures. So this is all still loose. We have still only the loose paper here, or already the loose paper here, and we can then take different sized envelopes and include them in different styles and with different ideas behind in the signatures. So don't sew these into a cover, okay? If you want to craft along, leave them alone, separately, not alone, but separately, so that we then can, in the next video, go on with the envelopes. I'm really, really hoping you could get something from this video. If you're interested in having the Poppyfield Avenue junk journal pages or even also the ephemera pack, then please check out the description box. There is everything linked for you, and there's also a link to a blog post about this journal and the paper collection. There are some more information, some detailed photos and so on. You can find everything about this journal in that blog post. Did I already say that? The link is also down below in the description box. Okay, so that's it for today. Oh, I love this color. Oh, these colors. This turquoise is, oh, it's just magical. See you the next time and have fun with putting your papers together. Bye.